All right, everybody. Let's see, gallery view, speaker view. Here we go. This works better, all right? Cool. So, welcome to the, what's it called? Make Love Monday. Monday Make Love show.
I love that.
Make Love Monday. That's what it's called. Yeah. Make Love, not war. So, we're talking about the attitude hack. How to just change your attitude to tell yourself a different story and to feel something different so that when you do communicate with your husband, he senses that feeling inside of you. It doesn't matter how you change the words, he's not hearing that, he's sensing the emotions, right? So a way to quickly shift that is to change your attitude by answering, for example, what's some good things about your husband? What is he actually doing right? And dive into that. And your attitude is this big heart that you can change and look at something different. And then you immediately tell yourself something different because you are, as you're watching, right? As you're answering your coach's question. And then you feel different. The reason I brought Jody on today is because she did leadership training with me. And we've also done some other work together in Puerto Rico. And we know each other pretty well because in leadership training, we get to see every side of each other, literally naked sometimes. So
more than you want.
What's that?
More than you want sometimes, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's like what happens in group coaching programs and in our programs is that you get more honest than you are with anybody, and that's what you want to be in creating those moments with your husband. You want to just peel the layers off and get really real, honest, and vulnerable, and that's where you create a connection and a lasting, influence. So that's magic, but it very rarely happens in the outside world because we just don't act like that. It'd be way easier if we did. So the reason I wanted to bring Jody on is to reconnect, of course, and also ask her your honest opinion, Jody, about attitude. How did you perceive my attitude in leadership? Obviously, you also saw my breakdowns, but what was your general perception of my attitude?
Okay, well, I want to tell you the first thing I thought of first when you said that to me with attitude. And because you are always like so playful and fun. And so it's like the first thing that I thought of actually was in Puerto Rico. And when we were going back to where we were staying, it was a little bit of a hike. And I was going to take the cab back or whatever it was, and you were going to go along the beach and walk and take a nice stroll, and I was like, gosh, I don't have the right shoes, blah blah blah, all the excuses. Here we are in Puerto Rico. I don't live by an ocean, and so it was like your attitude that hey, this is going to be enjoyable.
I actually got huge blisters, so that's the one time. But yeah, I'll jump into the ocean anytime and butt naked if I don't have a swimsuit because it just makes me feel great. So that's an attitude of not caring and
I've seen that too.
Not butt naked. I reserved that for Denmark, I think.
On the top.
Yeah. You gotta go in. So yeah, and that's a habit, I think, because I used to be pretty shy but it's just when you know the outcome of something. But that's again, if you've done something. First time's always scary.
Yeah.
So yeah. And do you remember leadership training? Because that to me is where we really got to see each other.
Yeah, right. Because it is in the heaviness and the things that we actually bring out when we're in a course like that. It's actually to go deep and transform us. And so yeah, because there's a lot of past, and there's things that happen to every one of us, so we have this past of all this stuff, and then we carry that in our lives, and that's how we show up in the world. And so for you to break through those things that you had from your past and shift into really this blossom of a woman who you really are, because you're not all that stuff, so you were able to release that and let that go, and then just step into this like fun, beautiful, vulnerable, which creates connection, right? You mentioned that before. The vulnerability is really where you can create that connection. And so you blossom into this, and yeah, I mean, you always have a great attitude. Every time I talk to you, it's fun, it's enlightening, it's uplifting, and yeah, so that's that shift.
Yeah, and yeah, attitude is contagious, right? So if you want to manage your marriage or your time with your children, it starts with attitude. And
Yeah.
attitude is like a little scratchy surface thing, but when you build it in as a habit, it's like everywhere on your surface. So the bad stuff can't really get in. So, but I find that when we meet people that we really love, so I've actually looked at this. When I meet love, my instant reaction is actually to be a little bit angry and to have that. That's just my reaction to love. For some reason, when I get what I want and I get love, I get angry for some reason. But of course, only the people near and dear to me see that. But so if you're a wife listening
And
to this or a mom, just know that that could be that. That's not per se, that's your deeper rooted instinct, like an animal reaction to things.
yeah, and that's what you learned when you were little. That's that past stuff, you know,
Yeah.
and it's probably what you learned love was when you were
Yeah,
little.
and it's just so weird. Like my kids, I finally got what I wanted is for them to play together. Like my sons, they were always fighting. So I sat down every morning at 5 a.m. and I prayed. So happy and grateful now that I live in theater. And then I found out when they were finally playing well together, I would start automatically complaining. It's so weird.
Yeah,
So we have these automatic and these go-tos, but we can shift our attitude in when we train it. And what we can't change just happens, but there are many moments when we can. And that's where gratitude comes in, right? What are you really grateful for? If you practice gratitude, it'll be easier for you to shift.
yes. That makes me think of the other day I have, well, my big awakening. Oh, I don't know if I want to go into this whole story, but um I had somebody message me, and there's a lot of past there, and normally it doesn't affect me, and I was like, and I got a little like irritated about it, and I'm like, oh, good time to go do my gratitude journal. And because I do one every day, and so I went and did my journal, and then I felt better. So even something as simple as that you can go, okay, I feel myself like, "Nyeh," and then I need to shift this energy, and yeah, then it shifts your attitude into
Yeah.
gratitude.
Our attitude is literally the filter. So because that's our assumption about the world too. And then
Yeah,
that becomes our reality. And nothing can get through our filter that we don't want to come in. And
yeah,
oftentimes we just filter out a lot of good things, and the reality is completely relative. So anyways, without going really deep into all the reasons why, it's just that when you do step number 5, gratitude, it shifts your attitude. And attitude is everything, for the simple reason that it's not what you say that matters, it's how you feel when you say it. So it's all about managing your mind in order to manage your emotions, so that you feel different and that you just feel better.
yes,
And for me, it's about the stories. Look at the stories you're telling yourself. And they're not very good and nice to look at. But when you practice gratitude, you put a different story inside of your mind. And it is your mind that determines your emotions. And your mind is just all these stories that we all have on automatic. And we don't really share them or talk, but we all have them going on. Like, for example, if somebody owes you money or something like that, you're like, oh, why doesn't that, like all these things just go on automatic. And gratitude, you change your story. You're the director of a new, different story.
yes. And one more aspect of that too is when you have all this going on, it actually, that all that stuff goes in your body and affects your body and your health. And those emotions get stuck in your, entrapped in your body too, and can cause a lot of issues. And for me, it went right to my digestion.
Yeah, tell us more
Your-
about that. So I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry. Yeah, Jody, while we have you here, tell us what you do.
Yeah, so I work with emotional and thought patterns. Really, it's all about health. I'm a health coach. And I can teach you what to eat, how to exercise, you know, supplement, everything like that. But what I found for me had, well, my health, I have great health, but yet I had digestive issues, like to the point that I looked 5 months pregnant.
Wow.
And yeah, it was bad. It was the pain, and you know, sometimes I'd be curled up in a ball. I'd be in the bathroom all the time. I couldn't go anywhere. It was horrible. And I did everything under the sun to get better. You name it, I did it. It was like, I tried it and I wasn't getting better. And then one day, one of my friends, I took her in for a short time to help her out. And she saw me and she's like, what in the hell are you doing? Because I was running around constantly and busy and I'm a single mom, you know, and she's like, you're gonna kill yourself. And I'm like, she goes, you need to slow down. I'm like, I can't slow down, are you crazy? I won't be able to pay my rent, blah blah blah, you know, like all this. Well, anyway, she has a knack for coaching. She started coaching me, and lo and behold, it was my, you know, there were quite a few things that I worked on, but it really was the thought patterns and the emotions that affected my stomach. And so when I worked through that, my stomach got flat.
Amazing. Just by
yeah.
changing your thought patterns.
Well, thought patterns, I worked on self-love. I slowed down. I started taking care of myself first. I did boundaries. So all those aspects shifted me at an emotional level, really.
Yeah.
And that shifted my body.
But it starts with your patterns, right? It starts with your changing the automatic boom vibration in your brain. And
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And how I really knew. So I was in a relationship with an abusive narcissist, very verbally, and that's where I hit like my rock bottom. And I said, never again. Of course, I would never attract that in my life now, done transformational work. But one day when I was having a good day, I was still in the healing. You know, I wasn't quite 100% good. I was still in the healing, but I was having a really good day. And he called, I looked down and I saw him, and instantly my stomach got huge. And I looked at my friend, I was like, and I was like, then I knew how much your emotions affect you. It was incredible.
I love that picture. I don't love that you've tried that, but I really love that you're explaining that to me right now, because that just brings a whole other vivid level to it. That stomach just going out like that. And
it's instant. Think about when you're nervous, or, you know, like you start thinking of something and all of a sudden you feel it in your belly, you know, that it's like, this is connected big time. Your head and your gut.
I'm doing a lot of Bob Proctor's work right now, and he talks about shutting off your senses so that you don't manage from your senses, because that's fear, that's like all these things, these animal impulsive. And when you shut down your senses and you're in the present moment, there can be no illusions, which are also assumptions, which is what keeps you stuck repeating your past. So I to me right now, that picture of closing off your senses, your six senses, all your senses are just, it allows you to create from within, instead of creating from outside impulses. So when you're creating from within, you can create something completely different and something new that has nothing to do with the past, has nothing to do with any conditions outside of you, nothing to do with your bank account, nothing to do with that you hurt your ex-husband, or like guilt things that I am experiencing somewhat now. And this bad guilt, oh, I did that. Like, because that's in the past, right? If you even did anything, you did like, so yeah, I love that saying. And everything really, truly is relative.
And getting out of here and into your heart. Otherwise this goes all day long. It doesn't stop.
And it's open to the senses, the impulses coming in from outside, even just everything from outside. When you can shut that out, like now with Corona, the election, you can just shut all of that out and create from within whatever you want to create. Like, there's a lot of fear going on all these weird sides, right? And that's just your instincts. Has nothing to do. You can create something completely different inside of you, where that does not matter and that doesn't affect you. That's not part of your reality even.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, great. So anything else about attitude? I wanted you to be kind of a proof to this whole attitude thing.
Just in what you said, it's like going from that anger or that bitterness, or, you know, to love. And I saw you do that. and it's beautiful.
So just in all honesty, was I angry and bitter in the beginning, or was I just a little more hiding myself? What happened? Because I didn't see it because I can't see
Yeah,
myself.
right, right. I think more hiding. Yeah, more hiding. And
Yeah.
yeah, it
Just the layer, like you can have an attitude in a negative sense. That's more like what do you say? What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, yeah. You know when you use attitude as like yeah, as this layer you have around yourself.
and I'd say more open too, like you opened up. I guess that goes with the hiding, right? From hiding to kind of opening up too. And that is an attitude to choose to be open.
I just always see that, like, when I love when people tell me that there's something I can't do because I got to prove them wrong. So I've done so many impossible things. Like I sued my bank and everybody told me I could. And the best lawyers in the country said, you don't have a case. And if you did, it was, statutory too late, blah, blah, blah. And he said, fuck it. And just said, bring it on. Yeah. So whatever life threw at me, like even when my mom passed away, I was just determined to see something beautiful in it because otherwise just be all horrible. And
Yeah.
it's just, you have that choice and you have that possibility. We all do. And I think it's just a habit to go for the, and see the negative in things, but it's the exact same things, right? It's your choice, the way you want to look at it. There's always an opportunity there's always something good in everything.
And don't make yourself wrong if you're, some days you can't, it's hard, this is something that happens over time too, unless you're in an intense program.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's good. It's always an opportunity. So if you feel bad about something, there's nothing bad in that. It's just the way it is, right? Yeah. And this takes time, like attitude and all these things and gratitude. And we hear it all the time, but it really does take time. And you're doing a gratitude journal, right? It's a muscle that we build up. And I just use it as what I call an attitude hack because you can't be mad and grateful at the same time. It's just mutually exclusive, right? So whenever you go into gratitude, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about it too. It just expands your heart. Uh, and yeah, it's just the fastest way to get into receiving mode, I think.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And we women aren't the best at receiving. So this is a good way to start receiving.
Yeah, and be the master of it. So don't wait for your husband or somebody to give you something and receive something or create a happiness. Do it yourself. When you're grateful, then there's that space and it comes to you and you're giving it to yourself.
Yeah.
Cool. What else can we say to the woman out there watching? Maybe a recovering angry wife, like I used to call myself, or maybe somebody else who's in a relationship, or maybe, I don't know who's listening actually, but my
Well,
target. Yeah.
I think one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself is coaching. So Samantha can help you with coaching with that. And why I say that is because we are all blind to our own stuff. You're not going to see the things that you're doing. Like you were asking me, how was I before? We can't see. We're not made that way. But let me tell you this, I bet you can see it in other people. You can see what their issues are, right? It's so easy to see other people's stuff, but not our own. It's probably a protection.
Yeah. And no one will tell you. So you may see other people's stuff, but you'll never ever go and tell them. So a coach will tell you because we get paid to tell that truth in a loving way. But I think everybody should coach. That's my thing right now. Like coaching made me make love, not war in my relationship. Even just reaching out to experts, I was writing to my list about it. Like when I went down to the basement and interviewed potential experts, many weren't a good fit because that's the whole email list model thing. But when I came up after talking to people down in the basement, I was so happy. Like nothing could throw me off my game. So I think it's crucial also, besides all this work that we're talking about, is to dive in to what your natural gift is and what you're meant to do here on planet Earth. Like what are we here for? When we find the work that doesn't feel like work, that lifts us up and creates us more energy, that's the most safe bet ever to stop fighting with anybody.
Yeah. Coaching is life changing. I mean, I would not be where I am today without it. It's huge. It's everything.
And I really want to help you find women who have health issues and need your wisdom in order to change it. So we don't need all those diets and all those restrictions and just going straight to the mind that goes straight into the body. Look at that reaction, how fast it goes, right?
Yes, and I released like 15 pounds too. So it's
Amazing.
like, it all works together. It's huge. I'm like, I call myself the holistic rebel because I am like, I'm so out of the box. I've been out of the box my whole life in so many ways, including health. And it's like I've done the things to overcome health issues that I had when I was younger. I didn't even tell you any, heart issues, all kinds of stuff. So, and I am super healthy and have been for, many years. So I know what I'm doing. I'm really good at it too. So I can help
Perfect.
people have great health. Yeah.
And when you say you're the holistic rebel, it's because you're honing on that one thing instead of having the holistic approach.
No, holistic mean I do the whole approach, mind, body, spirit, and I'm a
Uh-huh.
rebel because this isn't your mainstream stuff like
Ah,
eat salad or you know what I mean? There's so much more. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because that's like putting that. I find that in my work, you put tactics and strategies on, but if underneath I don't feel worthy or I feel like a failure of love, I'll never receive love or money. So I could put like I did all these things and I like grunt work and me hard worker, but then the results weren't there. Because that's like if you eat salad, does it matter if your mind is in a rocky place?
Yeah, it's not one thing. It's not that one little thing. It's the bigger picture.
But I think a great place to start is the mind. What your mind telling you, and kind of dictates everything. And a part of your mind is your attitude. But I find that attitude is a top layer that we can change. And then there are the limiting beliefs and the stories we tell ourselves due to something traumatic and all those. And they're harder to change. And they're really underwriting the system. And we get to work on them as well, because that's the filter we see everything from. I'm not worthy, then you're going to see that evidence everywhere that you're feeling. But your attitude kind of works from above, and it's something more practical and easy to start with. And that does drizzle down and change your underlying limiting beliefs, which you get to also hone in on with your coach, your therapist, or whoever you choose to work with. But attitude just works really fast and cuts down to those. And it kind of argues against your limiting beliefs. You're like, not true.
Want to be angry today.
Yeah, I remember standing with my head against the kitchen cupboard like this and thinking, how can I hate? How can I feel so much hate and anger towards the ones I love the most? Like a puzzle, a great riddle. And I'm still overriding that. Like everything that we do, we just have no clue, right? It's 99% is just this non-free will pre-programmed into us. But we can override it and we can change it one step at a time, one habit at a time. And I do not feel that I do not at all feel that hate and anger that would just explode out of me from nowhere. Like, I'm like total shock, like PSTDC, what post-traumatic thing, like what happened? It is crazy. Anyways,
Habits, like you said. Yeah.
yeah, it is. And gratitude is a great way to start to change your attitude. And you'll see that in your life everywhere when you work on that. That's why that's step number 5. And the next step is the one I love also. I call it give to get. So we're going to talk about that next week. Give to get. And that's magic too. And anybody who's not reading Conversations with God right now, I highly recommend it.
Oh my God, I am reading that right now.
Isn't it amazing? Conversations with God. Are you listening to it on Audible?
No, I have the book.
I have the books, but on Audible, it shifts between a man and a woman, and then Donald's or Neil's voice, and it's great. Get it on Audible, costs 1 credit, and then yeah, definitely have to listen to it on Audible too. Amazing book, and I don't know where people are in their lives right now who are listening to this, but Conversations with God, oh my God.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
All right. Jody, it's been great. And I will write out to my list about your amazing event. Tell us about it anyways. On Saturday, what's the date?
Saturday, the 14th. Oh my God. Yes, the 14th.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So I'm doing Conscious Health Mastery Live Retreat. And so we're going to work on clearing limiting beliefs so you can have the healthy life that you want. You can have a conscious healthy life, meaning I'll go into what conscious means, but it's really releasing your limiting beliefs and creating the health that you really deserve and desire in your life. And, really making you aware of those blind spots and the things that are holding you back. So yeah.
What time is it?
It is in the States.
Yeah, tell me Pacific. I'm all in Pacific time.
Okay, Pacific will be 8 till 11. 8 to 11 Pacific.
In the evening.
In the morning.
In the morning, perfect. I get to be on then.
Yeah.
And you're on East Coast time yourself, or in the middle.
I'm Central.
Central, yeah. Okay, so 8 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
Which is 5 p.m. Central European time.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
Can I drop?
I
did drop.
Yeah. And we're still recording, and it's $33. That's an amazing offer. So anybody listening to this, grab that while you can. And maximum amount of people that you're having on is how many?
It's unlimited. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You should say that it's only room for so and so. But anyways.
Only room for you.
Okay, it's unlimited. Okay, cool. But anyways, that's a no-brainer. Grab that. You gotta get that. Don't listen.
Frustrated with your health. If you're frustrated with, you've been going to doctor after doctor, you don't know what's going on. I mean, I can support you with that. If you've got digestive issues and you're bloated, and it'll only get worse. It doesn't get better. If you do not work on your health, it will get worse. I'm not trying to be negative, but it's just the reality. If you don't do something intentional to create that health that you want in your life, you're not going to have it. It's not going to happen. There's no quick fix pill that just.
And your approach is different. Your approach is different than anything I've ever heard. I haven't even heard it yet, but I can sense that it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I will do whatever I can, check my schedule and be on with you guys. And it will also be on Zoom, right? So we get to see each other, everybody.
Yes.
Perfect. I will mail my list out during this week and invite them and share it in my Facebook group. And we could also do a live in my Facebook group if we can get that stuff working. I have a closed Facebook group with about 400 women who signed up. Many of them are moms. So
okay.
Great work, Jody. And thank you for coming on. And it's great to connect with you.
You too.
Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye.